What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm back with another story time. I'm going to be telling you guys about the time that I got a little bit too high and probably almost died. So if you guys are ready to hear about this crazy story, then hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, turn on your post notifications, and let's just get right into this crazy ass story. So this happened in January of 2014, and I remember because I got this gift as a New Year's Eve gift from somebody. We're gonna call that person S. So S came by and gave me a gift, and they were like,
"Here, Happy New Year's, have fun."
So I was like, okay, whatever. And I would just put this out there that I wasn't really a big smoker anyway. I smoked here and there, but I never really was like a smoker where I had to smoke every single day or anything. But this day I decided to smoke. So at this time I was dating a guy. We're gonna call him Felipe. And my best friend JJ and Felipe came by and they were like, yo, let's hang out, blah blah blah. So I don't remember, I think this was like on a weekend or something, and my little sister was here. It was me, Felipe, and JJ. My mom was at work, and my uncle and my aunt were like on their way, but they weren't too close. So I thought I had some time to get high. So I was like really iffy about smoking in my house because my mom didn't really know I was smoking at the time. So we went into my backyard and we had ran out of weed. So I remembered that S gave me a gift, and I was like, hey, like S came by and gave me something that they called shake. I don't know, to me it looked like leftover weed. I don't really know. I'm not really like a big weed person. I don't really know like this and this and this about it. All I really used to smoke were like hookah pens back then, but now I don't smoke anything. Felipe was like, oh yeah, let's roll up this shake. So he did that. I never like was a, like I said, I wasn't like a big smoker, so I wouldn't sit there and finish like a whole blunt or anything. I would just take a few hits and I'd be like, no, I'm done. So I have gotten high, but I have never gotten high like this before. So he's done rolling up and we're in my backyard and we all start to smoke. I want to say we're like half a blunt down. Like I don't even smoke half a blunt. But Felipe, I remember, had his arms around me, and all of a sudden I just pushed him off, and he was like, what the hell? And I just was like, felt an anxiety attack coming on. I already suffered from anxiety attack. I still do sometimes, but I had like an anxiety attack. All the symptoms were coming on and I knew how to get myself out of them, but for some reason I just couldn't get myself out of this anxiety attack. I remember telling Felipe and JJ like, hey, like something just feels weird, and they're like, oh, you're probably just high. And I was like, no, I know what it feels like to be high, and this is not, no, like this does not feel like being high. And they were already like big stoners, like they still are big stoners, but they knew that I wasn't really like that. So we're outside and I'm like, okay, maybe if I just relax I can like let the air hit me a little bit. Nothing. It just started to come worse. So then I remember, like, at this point of me having anxiety attacks, I kind of was like relax myself by eating, because for some reason I felt like when I've had anxiety attacks I felt like hungry, but I wouldn't be hungry. I would just feel like a need, like I was gonna faint or something. You know, when you haven't eaten and you feel like you're gonna faint and everything, it's all dizzy and all that. That's how I felt. But I wasn't hungry because I had just ate before we did that. So I came back in the house and I remember I ate an apple and I was like, okay, maybe this will just make me like feel okay. a few minutes went by and I was still like panicking. So at this point, JJ and Felipe are still like, you're probably just high, like just relax, it's nothing serious. And I know myself, I know what anxiety feels like for myself, and this was definitely an anxiety attack. I have had bad anxiety attacks before, but it was nothing compared to this type of anxiety attack. We went to go sit down, and Felipe was like, why don't you just lay down and just like see what happens? So we went back into my room, which my room actually has a door that goes to the backyard. So we came back downstairs and I lay down. We all lay down. Well, JJ was like in her own world, but we all lay down, and they were already like super stoned already. And I lay down and I closed my eyes, and then I opened my eyes and everything started like spinning around me. And I got up super fast and I started to panic. My heart was racing. I was tripping out. I felt like I couldn't walk straight. And it was only me feeling like this. Like JJ and Felipe were perfectly fine. I don't know if it's because they were already so like used to smoking so much, like they don't even care. Got up and I jumped up from the bed and I started panicking, and I was like, dude, something is wrong, like something doesn't feel right with me. They're like trying to relax me, and I just started crying, and I was like, something is wrong, like my head just feels like super weird and my body feels super weird and my vision is all blurry, everything's spinning. They asked my little sister like, how do you get her out of her anxiety attacks? And for some reason I felt like having an inhaler would help, you know, the kind that you use for asthma. So they went to go find the inhaler that I would use, and they couldn't find it. And I remember running up the stairs trying to look for the inhaler, and I took like 2 puffs of the inhaler and nothing worked. And now I'm like pacing back and forth in my house. I'm freaking out. They're freaking out. They're like, oh my god, like, is she okay? Is she gonna like have a heart attack or something? And my little sister has seen me had anxiety attacks or panic attacks, and she was just like, no, she'll be fine. But she didn't know the reason that like I was tripping out. So she was like, no, she'll be fine. She just has to kind of relax herself. Remember, this part's so embarrassing. I remember being in my kitchen trying to like stuff my face so the feeling of like this fainting would go away, and nothing worked. So I started to cry. Like I was like crying, panicking, and I jumped in the shower. I turned it on, fully clothed. I had no shoes on, but I had socks, pants, shirt, hair up, makeup on, and I jumped in the shower and I sat there on the floor and I started to cry, and I let the cold water hit me. And this was like freezing cold water I put on. I've never like been in this type of cold water before. It was like colder than like a pool when you first get into a swimming pool. And JJ was like stoned out of her mind, eating a slice of pizza, sitting on the toilet like waiting, like not even tripping. And Felipe was like super panic mode. He was like, dude, what the hell, like, are you okay? Like, oh my god, she's in the shower. I like sat there crying for like 2 minutes, just still didn't go away. Like the feeling didn't go away. So I remember I got out of the shower, I turned it off. I'm like running back and forth in my house, flipping out. I'm like super soaking wet. There's water all over the damn floor throughout my house. And I remember my uncle and my aunt walked through the door, and we're all in the kitchen, and they're like, what the hell? And Felipe was like, I think she's really, really high right now, and she doesn't understand that, and she says that she's panicking. And my uncle was like, yep, I've been there. And he told me that he has experienced this before, where he kind of was like, he was at a Halloween party a few years, or like a year before that, and my cousins and everybody were smoking, and they said that he blacked out and was like flipping out, and he didn't know what happened like the next day, anything like that. And it was like a legit out of body experience. And I was like I remember like watching myself be in that shower, but from the outside of the shower. And I was like flipping, and my uncle was like, dude, there was something in whatever you were smoking that affected you and didn't affect them because they're already so used to smoking different types of things. And I was like freaking out. I was crying. My aunt was like, we have to get you out these clothes. I remember I called my mom at work and I'm like crying, and she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, Mom, I am super stoned right now and I'm having an anxiety attack. I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. And she kind of was like, what the hell? Okay, sorry guys. I kind of have to talk low now because my kids are sleeping, and I think I was talking a little bit too loud, so Nevaeh started to wake up. But okay, so back to the story. So my aunt was like, we have to get you out these clothes, there's water everywhere. I remember grabbing a towel and like wiping up the floor, still crying, still drenched though. And I called, like I said, I called my mom, and my mom was like, why are you getting high in my house? And I'm like, Mom, I just wanted to have some fun. And I told her that S, she knew who S was, and I was like, S gave me this. And she was like, I'm gonna kick her ass and things like that. And she was like, there has to be something, whatever you guys were smoking, like it has to be something like a harder drug. Like I've never tried any other drug. I have smoked a cigarette before, like once. I've smoked hookah pens with no tobacco in it, no nicotine, none of that. And I've only smoked weed before. I've never done like, you know, hard bad drugs. I would clean up the floor in the kitchen. We all went back downstairs. I remember I got out those wet ass clothes. Like Felipe helped me get out the clothes, and he was like, dude, I'm so scared, like, are you okay, like what's wrong? And I was kind of like calming down now. And I remember they were like, dude, let's just try to take a nap, like all this is making like you so tired. So I remember we took, like, it was so weird, me and Felipe were on my bed, and JJ was sleeping on, she fell asleep on a couch I had in my room. And we fell asleep for maybe like 2 to 3 hours. And I remember waking up and JJ was gone. She ended up going home, but while we were asleep. And Felipe was like, I have to go home, but are you okay? And I woke up like nothing ever happened. I knew what happened, but I was like, you know, fine, like it never happened. Like I woke up like just cool. And I remember Felipe was like, okay, I have to go. So then he left. And when he left, my mom came home. And I remember sitting there, and my mom looked at me and she's like, what happened? So I told her everything that happened, and she wasn't mad really. She was just trying to figure out like, what did S put in that weed to make me flip out like that? And I told her, I was like, it's weird because they didn't flip out like I did. Like I legit was like in the shower crying with my clothes on, like what the hell? And she was like, you know, you have to be careful, because what if you would have freaked out and started having a heart attack and things like that? And you know, she was like concerned more about me just having the panic attack. And then I told S, and I was like, yo, like whatever you put in there, like it's not cool. I don't know if you put anything in there. And S never got back to me. To this day, S has not got back to me. Mind you, this was in 2014, the beginning of the year, and it's now 2019. So I don't really know. I still don't know what was in that. I don't even know where she got it from. Yeah, so that's the time that I got really, really high, and I have never smoked anything since then. That is the time that I got really high. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like, turn on your notifications, and I will see you guys next story time.